Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that could change the way you see life. Your support through comments, likes, and shares means the world to me, and it keeps these stories coming. Now let me take you back to a day I will never forget. A day that started like any other but ended up flipping my entire world upside down. It was one of those ordinary mornings. The sun was just peeking over the horizon, painting the sky with soft streaks of orange and pink. I had my routine down to a science. Coffee first, glance out the window, a deep inhale of the crisp morning air. At 61 years old, I had grown comfortable with my life, with my habits, and with the quiet rhythm of my days. I had spent decades trying to manage the inevitable march of time. Daily exercise, careful diet, skincare routines. I did everything to keep myself feeling young, to hold on to the part of me that refused to accept growing older. And yet there was a void, a space inside me that no amount of yoga, jogging, or healthy eating could fill. Something, or someone was missing. And then there was Jack, the delivery man. I first met him months ago, and there was something inexplicable about him. Maybe it was his energy, his smile, or the way he carried himself with a confidence that seemed almost too effortless for his age. He was 22, a decade and a half younger than me, and yet, every time I saw him, my heart seemed to stumble over itself. Over the past few months, I had found myself ordering more things than I needed, books, home decor, even random knickknacks, just so I could hear that familiar ring of the doorbell, just so I could see Jack's face again. I told myself it was silly, inappropriate even. But I couldn't deny the pull I felt every single time he appeared at my doorstep. That morning, I stepped outside, coffee in hand, enjoying the crisp air. I noticed Jack in the distance, weaving down the street on his motorcycle, packages balanced neatly in his arms. And then in a split second, everything changed. His tire skidded, and he fell right in front of me. My heart jumped into my throat, and a scream tore itself from my chest. Instinctively, I dropped my bag and rushed to him, my hands shaking. His knee and elbow were scraped, skin raw and bleeding. But even in pain, he managed to flash me that effortless, disarming smile. "Judith, I'm fine." "It's nothing," he said, his voice deep but slightly trembling. "Don't be ridiculous." I shot back, my voice firmer than I felt. "You are not getting up like this. Come inside. Now." I helped him steady his motorcycle, then supported him as we walked to my home. He hesitated at first, clearly torn between politeness and exhaustion, but my insistence left him no choice. Once inside, I guided him to the couch and grabbed my first aid kit. As I cleaned his wounds, my hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the tension of being this close to him. I noticed the subtle details, the slight dusting of hair on his forearms, the strength in his shoulders, the way his brow furrowed as he tried to mask the pain. He was young, yes, but there was a surprising depth in his gaze, a quiet maturity that I hadn't expected. "Sorry to trouble you like this, Judith," he said, trying to downplay it. I chuckled, a little nervously, shaking my head. "Fall off your bike, hurt yourself, and you think I'm going to let you just brush it off? Absolutely not." The air between us grew thick, heavy with unspoken words. When I reached his arm to apply a bandage, our hands brushed. A spark, brief, electric, ran through me. He noticed, I noticed, and suddenly the room felt smaller, warmer, more alive. "Judith," he said softly, hesitating. "I didn't expect you to be so kind. Most people just want me to leave after dropping off their packages." His words hit me differently than I imagined. For months, I had told myself this was a harmless attraction. But hearing him say this, it made me realize just how much being around him had already begun to affect me. "You're not just a delivery man, Jack," I admitted, my voice trembling slightly. "I see the way you interact with people, your care, your attentiveness. Being around you, it makes me feel alive in a way I haven't in years." For a moment, the room held its breath. His eyes softened, yet a new determination shone within them. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, he leaned closer, his gaze locked with mine. The electricity between us was undeniable. After a pause, Jack spoke about his living situation. Long commutes, expensive rents, the struggle of balancing work and life. Something inside me stirred. I realized I could help him. Maybe even change the trajectory of both our lives. I have a small apartment right next to my house, I said quietly but firmly. It's vacant. If you want, you could move in. At a very reasonable price. Jack blinked, surprised. Judith, you don't have to be this kind, he said. But I had already made up my mind. The moment I offered, a new chapter began. A chapter that would break the monotony of my life forever. As I tended to his wounds, I couldn't help but notice him looking at me too. There was a delicate dance of attention, of curiosity, of undeniable attraction. Each glance, each touch, even accidental, added tension to the room. Jack, I said, trying to ease the intensity. If you move into the apartment, it'll feel like I've been waiting for you all along. His surprise was palpable. I need to move fast, he admitted, almost reluctantly. My landlord is pushing me out, and I still have deliveries to finish. That evening, the first real dinner in my home with Jack alone became a turning point. Conversation flowed, laughter mixed with vulnerability, and by the time we opened a bottle of wine, I realized this was just the beginning of something neither of us could have predicted. The sun had dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow across the room. The soft clinking of cutlery and the faint pop of the wine cork filled the space. Jack sat across from me, his eyes watching me as if trying to memorize every detail. I didn't expect tonight to turn out like this, he said softly, swirling the wine in his glass. Usually it's just deliveries and quick hellos. But here, it feels different. I smiled, a flutter of excitement in my chest. Different can be good, Jack. Sometimes the best things in life happen when you least expect them. His gaze lingered on me longer than necessary, and I felt a warmth rise in my cheeks. Something unspoken was passing between us. A connection neither words nor gestures could fully capture. After dinner, we moved to the living room. The wine had loosened our tongues and softened the edges of caution. Conversations that would normally feel awkward flowed effortlessly. I've spent so much of my life caring for everyone else, I confessed, sipping my wine. Children, work, family. And now I realize how lonely I've been. Sometimes it's almost unbearable. Jack nodded, his expression serious. Loneliness can be suffocating no matter your age. But Judith, everything about you shows care and effort. Your home, your cooking, the way you carry yourself. It's unfair that someone like you should ever feel alone. His words struck a chord deep inside me. I hadn't realized how much I had craved someone seeing me, not just the roles I play for others. I swallowed hard, feeling a tremor of emotion I hadn't felt in years. The conversation drifted to lighter topics, but there was an underlying electricity now. We laughed at small jokes, shared stories of our pasts, and slowly, I noticed his hand inching closer to mine on the coffee table. Neither of us moved away. I feel like I can be honest with you, Judith, Jack said quietly, his eyes locking with mine. Not many people see me for who I am. But with you, I feel like I can. My heart thumped, and I felt a flush rise to my cheeks. Jack, I feel the same. More than I expected, more than I should admit. But being honest feels right. The room seemed to shrink, our breaths synchronized in the quiet. The tension, long simmering beneath the surface, finally found its release, not in words, but in presence. Days turned into weeks, and Jack moved into the apartment next to mine. What started as simple neighborly interactions quickly grew into shared coffees, walks in the nearby park, and long conversations that stretched into the night. Every small gesture, the way he laughed at my jokes, the way he helped with errands, the way he remembered small details about my life, made my heart race in ways I hadn't expected. Jack's youthful energy contrasted with his surprising emotional maturity. He listened when I spoke, genuinely cared about the things I valued, and somehow made me feel younger and alive without trying. One afternoon, as we were arranging some boxes in his new apartment, he paused and looked at me. You know, Judith, moving here wasn't just convenient. It's changed everything for me. I feel like I finally belong somewhere. I felt the same. A warmth spread through me, the kind that only comes when someone not only sees you, but chooses to stay. Of course, it wasn't always easy. There were moments of doubt, whispers of societal judgment, and the quiet fear that this connection might be fleeting. But each time we faced those doubts, we chose honesty, communication, and patience. One evening, after a long day, we sat together on the couch. I confessed my insecurities, the fear of judgment, the age difference, the worry that it was somehow wrong. Jack took my hand gently. "Judith, I don't care about age, expectations, or what anyone thinks. I care about you. Being with you, it feels real. It feels right." Hearing him say this, all the doubts I had carried for decades began to dissolve. For the first time in years, I felt truly seen, truly valued, truly alive. Our relationship grew slowly, naturally, beautifully. Shared breakfasts, late-night movies, walks in the park, and quiet evenings at home became our new rhythm. Jack's energy and zest for life inspired me, while my steadiness and experience offered him comfort and grounding. One morning, I watched him from the kitchen window as he watered the plants on the balcony. The sunlight caught the lines of his face, the strength in his hands, and I realized I hadn't felt this hopeful in decades. I smiled, knowing he felt the same way when he looked at me. The turning point came one rainy evening. The storm outside mirrored the tension I had been feeling inside. We sat on the couch, rain tapping gently against the windows. Jack reached for my hand. "Judith, I don't want this to be temporary. I want to be part of your life, fully. Not just as your neighbor, not just as your friend, but something more." Tears welled in my eyes. "I feel the same, Jack. I've been afraid, yes, but I can't ignore this. I can't ignore you." And there, amid the storm, we held each other, letting the world fade away. It wasn't just desire. It was connection, understanding, and a bond that had been waiting for both of us to notice. From that night on, life felt different. Ordinary mornings became moments to cherish. Coffee together, shared laughter, even mundane errands carried a sense of joy and anticipation. Jack and I had found each other, not as a fleeting spark, but as a lasting flame. I learned something profound. Age doesn't define love. Loneliness can be healed, and sometimes life surprises you with connections you never saw coming. That day when Jack fell in front of me wasn't just an accident. It was the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with warmth, excitement, and genuine companionship. And as we sat together, watching the sunset from my balcony, I realized something incredible. I wasn't just alive. I was alive with someone who made every heartbeat matter. If you've enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment. Comment below with your thoughts. I'd love to hear your stories too. And remember, life has a way of surprising us when we least expect it. Sometimes, the most ordinary day can turn into the beginning of something extraordinary.